Welcome back for this week's Thursday exclusive intel word on the streams. We're going to begin this session with the Woodland Wardens just to get things rolling. And this time, we're just going to go through several decks without reaching for the guidebooks nearly as often. Aim to keep this at 30 minutes and aim to keep the interpretation of each card a bit more reduced to the basics at this time. One more shuffle. Dear source of all it is, was, and will ever be, I thank you today and each and every day for all that you do through me. I call upon you at this time for protection, blessings, fortitude, integrity, and always authenticity. Please support me in delivering these messages, whatever it is that we are meant to hear at this time as a collective. Word on the streams. What are the words on the streams? Holy Spirit. Here we go. Word on the streams for the collective. We're going to make one full pass. Thank you, Holy Spirit. We have one sticking out pretty far right here. So we have two on the table that came out with the one full pass, and we have at the bottom the ladybug and the sweet pea in our immediate environment is happiness. And right behind that we have the owl and the hops with wisdom. And our honorable mention for this week's Thursday Intel is inspiration with the salamander and black pepper. All right, so that's what's going on in the immediate environment. Let's see. Beginning with the ladybug, actually. And the sweet pea, number 35. So, you are entering a period of happiness, positivity, and good fortune. Celebrate your joy by sharing it with others. Beautiful. Together, the ladybug and sweet pea represent ease and happiness. Ooh-wee. And let's see, the owl and hop with wisdom. Number 22, we have a master number on the table. You have come to the end of a long journey. Relishing your achievement, take deep, satisfying breaths. And in comes the fur baby. Well, hello there, Miss Bella. Excuse me while I close the door. Okay. Beautiful. The owl and hop with wisdom, number 22. Indicating spiritual and intellectual fulfillment. Beautiful. As well as a hint of mystery. So there is still more coming to light for us at this time. Speaking of more coming to light, let's see what the salamander and the black pepper have to bring with inspiration. Number 17. A new opportunity awaits. To fulfill it, you must remain inspired, applying your full energy to your creative endeavors. Calling us to muster up some energy and get inspired. How do I invite and incorporate more inspiration into my life? Word on the streams, Holy Spirit. Independence and protection. But before we go over these two cards, we are going to ring the bell for number 22. So this may be a good time to reduce the volume on your listening devices as we ring in this happiness, wisdom, and inspiration, as well as protection and independence. 1, 2, 3. Ringing in the blessings of the word on the streams. Yes. There we have it. All right, now we're going to take a look at number 21. The skunk and magnolia. You are safe. Your boundaries are respected and your home is intact. Remember that when you are protected, it becomes your duty to protect others. Extend your shelter to those without one. The skunk is also serving as a warning to all would-be assailants. Guiding us to evolve to endure any damage that these assailants may have caused. Now let's take a look at number 1, the cat and lavender with independence. The cat and lavender. You can seek your full potential without depending on validation from others. Power, resourcefulness, and potential are key words to remember, as well as looking inward, relying on our own instincts and inner resources, often known as loners, representing self-reliance, breathing soothing comfort to ourselves and others. Overcoming insecurities. Holy Spirit, more Thursday intel, word on the streams. What is it that we are meant to hear at this time? What is it we are meant to hear at this time? There's one full pass. In our immediate orbit, we have the moth and eucalyptus with an ending of some kind. Something is being drawn to a close. There could be a natural ending and departing of some kind of relationship, whether it's vocational, romantic, platonic, familial, or any otherwise. There is an ending coming in. We've been getting this message for weeks now. So, number 13. Interestingly enough, that number also represents endings and transformations, paradigm shifts, putting something to rest. It could even be the death of an old habit. And old habits do die hard. Thank you, Holy Spirit. an imminent ending, like a tower moment. The end of a relationship, hobby, interest, job, or any number of other things. While endings sometimes mark loss, they don't always, and if we do experience grief, we have the power to emerge from it with a better understanding of ourselves. Going inward to determine and distinguish what tools we have that might help us feel safe and protected when a change is occurring in our lives. Well, let's take a look at these next two cards to determine some possible changes. We have patience and adaptability. So some changes in our level of patience and adaptability. Number 27. Use your ingenuity to guide you. Nimbleness and adaptability will suit you well in your endeavors. And with the Bobcat and Blackthorn, number 40. A journey requiring preparation and patience. Rationing your sustenance carefully. Packing with plenty of provisions. How may we mentally prepare such that we can survive when supplies are low? Let's see here. Overcoming obstacles. Beautiful. Overcoming obstacles. That's always a great thing. Now we're going to go into the Kipper next, beloveds. With my inside voice. Sometimes that outside voice does creep out. It happens to all of us. We are only human. No one in this orbit is doing anything terrible enough to even be moved to making excuses. Let's move along. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Word on the streams, Holy Spirit, from the Kipper. Word on the streams for the collective. Oh, Holy Spirit wants us to make another full pass with the Kipper. One more full pass. We have two cards that turn sideways in the deck. From the bottom, we have the main male. So this could either be you or someone closely connected to you, but not necessarily someone official in your life, like an official family through, biology, family trees, or like not an official boyfriend, husband, wife, girlfriend, or it could even be you or someone you know who earns an income without reporting it. I mean, I'm just creating different scenarios here that could possibly apply. Let's take a look at number 1. The partner of the main female. Or any male subject in the message. So this pertains to all that the collective desires and what they're aware of. Confidence, directness, and openness. This is all about connections that come together and integrate together without any kind of selfishness. All right, so connections coming through, selfless connections that are meant to be integrated together. All right. We also have, well, okay, Holy Spirit said start with the bottom of the pile because that was the first to come out, and we have a false person in our orbit, as well as the house upside down. So a false person creating instability in the environment because they are possibly experiencing some kind of lack mindset, and they could be a little disgruntled about something that you may have that they want, but Holy Spirit is saying don't take it any further than that. We don't want the drama. Nevertheless, if anybody's bringing the drama, it's the false person. The false person is not you, because this card right here specifies that this represents the querent, which would be us as the collective. And it can also represent myself as the reader, which means the false person is someone else with bad intentions to either create instability or continue to create instability due to wherever they feel they are lacking, because Privileged Lady came out in reverse. All right, we have also the Gift in reverse, but we also have unexpected income. So this is some kind of like one-time or temporary flow that we have going on here. Oh, with the house coming out first and then the unexpected income, this significator would be giving coin to the needy. And it won't seem like a lot. So, in terms of our gifts, we have something to offer to others who may be in need in some kind of way. But it's not going to feel like a major loss or burden to us. Okay, yes, leading to the idea of small bonds, notes, payments, household accounts, offers, purchases, invoices, and checks. Also, sudden, unexpected change and improvement in that change. So, throughout this change, we're really not even being expected to utilize our gifts. This is going to come in for us nevertheless. Holy Spirit just said, out of the kindness of someone's heart. Okay. This can be like small amounts of money, like donations and other contributions towards your channel if you have a social platform. It can be just, it could be like a birthday card with cash money in it, or a gift card. The smaller gestures, but Holy Spirit is saying those smaller gestures that really add up over time. And so these small gestures can be noticed and unexpectedly rewarded by others, simply by you just being you and doing what you do, how you do. We have the courthouse in reverse, as well as marriage in reverse. So, to some, this can be taken quite literally as someone all in their thoughts about the dissolution of a marriage where you wouldn't even be required to go to court. This is something that could be squared away without too many discrepancies or details. Okay, so some of the collective is all up in their thoughts about that. But there are more meanings to these cards than just the obvious literal interpretation. So, for just a little bit more detail, remember we're not going to hover over each card for too long. Relationships, bonds, and friendships. It's good for relationships when it's ahead of the significator. But it can still mean a separation, but again, it's like a natural parting. It's like nobody necessarily did anything wrong to violate this bond. You're just kind of going your own way, mutually. Holy Spirit just said, mutually parting ways. Number 16 and thoughts. We're being guided to take a look at that one from the book as well. It reveals that the collective has been in consideration of our own opinions as well as the thoughts of others, especially in terms about love and feeling firmly connected with someone. But being encouraged to reflect thoroughly, exploring new ideas, exploring your options. So if you're thinking about like bailing out on one connection and jumping right into another, that is a no bueno. And that's with any type of connection. Unless, of course, it's a vocation and you already have something else lined up, that would be wise. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In terms of vocation, it's going to look different. Especially when we live in a matrixy society where a lot of people are forced to work just to barely scrape by. So, yes. Unless it's a job or taking on a new vocation based on new ideas, take the appropriate amount of time necessary for you to reflect and adjust. Holy Spirit is saying, for the sake of avoiding any kind of new formed codependencies. Alright, we're going to make a card actually separated, and it was the official person in reverse that was at the bottom of the deck. So that was meant to come out for us overall and not just be like a little bit of a hint that you've been communicating with someone who is not necessarily an official person in your life. Holy Spirit said, yet. And we have the number 22 again on the table, ringing in these new ideas. As well as a graceful a natural transition. 1, 2, 3. Ringing in these words on the streams. All right. The privileged lady, Holy Spirit wants us to take a look at that one with it coming out in reverse. Family-related grief. Family-related grief. It can be associated with a number of different things. It could be the overall theme for you in terms of everything else that came out. But there could also be some family grief associated with this parting of ways. All right. One more full pass. Holy Spirit, word on the streams for the collective. They're like, not so fast, George, those cards that you tried to push back in. We have Lovers in reverse and Community in the upright. So this is, for the majority of you, some form of intimate connection that there's this understanding that the only way to get that peace of mind back in your lives is to part ways. But that parting will be supported by relatives, including our passed on ancestors, as well as our close-knit community, and even for some of you, your actual physical community and surroundings. They may just reach out to you during your brief time of grieving. Holy Spirit is saying, specify that it's going to be brief. Separation of any kind is never easy for anyone to go through, whether it's being, separated from your work, your job, your vocation, anything that you truly love, really. And breaking up is hard to do. It is. Even if it's mutual, it is so hard to do. But it seems to be a part of the natural flow here. It seems to be a part of the natural flow. There have been some obstacles and some dishonesty in these connections that are parting ways. This could also involve some kind of domestic disputes. Beyond the cramped conditions of wherever you live or lived. Work, taverns, street corners, different backgrounds. So a new neighborhood would have proved both a support and a challenge that defines your new lives. So for any of you who may be relocating, the majority of the community is going to find it well received, but there will also be some challenges. That's to be expected. I mean, let's just be real. If we're liked by everyone, we would have to be pretty weak. However, in our immediate orbit, we do have great fortune. So all of these changes that are coming in on these streams are going to lead to abundance in multiple ways, shapes, and forms. Holy Spirit is saying, even an abundance of challenges. So with our successes also come challenges. Not necessarily people trying to challenge us. Just look at it as like the expected challenges of trying anything new for the first time, whether it's a hobby, a vocation, or a relationship. And this great fortune is not going to come in suddenly. This new beginning is going to be, this particular new beginning is going to be slow developing. Now, we've had other new beginning messages coming out recently that are meant to be more quickly developed. Like, I wouldn't recommend fast tracking a relationship, but if you're still teachable and you want to fast track training or some kind of lessons for certification because you have the brains and the brawn to do so, as well as the boldness, go for it. But in terms of drastic changes, I wouldn't expect it all at once. Okay. Okay. We're now going to reach for the Hungarian Gypsy. And we're already over 30 minutes. So we're going to use this deck to draw these messages to a close. I do have a reference point on the screen of my laptop in case I feel a little bit stumped with a card. Otherwise, Holy Spirit, what are we meant to know, see, and hear at this time? Word on the streams, they said make a second full pass. And we had numerous cards also turn over inside the deck. We'll take a look at those first. Holy Spirit is saying that they will be the most significant out of all of the messages from this deck. Money and marriage in the upright. So, some discrepancies in a marriage over money. This can also not necessarily represent money at all. It can also represent a sacred connection with the marriage card that is divinely ordained. That involves winning. This is not like, Holy Spirit is saying, not like the modern man, modern woman's perspective on winning, though. This is true prosperity. True prosperity. Yes. Self-worth, success, valuing yourself more. This is the kind of sacred, divinely ordained union that, without feeling that need to impress, you still are inspired to just be a better version of yourself. So, okay. A misfortune that equates to some kind of loss. Oh, but wait, loss is actually in reverse. So the collective is not actually taking a loss. Holy Spirit is saying no one's taking any losses. This is all about the discomforts in life, but also expecting the unexpected, even in terms of this divine union. That it's not leading to true prosperity, Holy Spirit just said. It is promoting prosperity. The union is promoting beautiful. I don't think I've ever been channeled that before. Another message I'm getting, though, is that there's something that we are still meant to be paying close attention to involving a loss that has already occurred. A journey. Those who were involved in that loss may be on their way back towards you to make a second attempt, or you're moving away from it. You're moving away from it. We have constancy and ecclesiastic as well. So, someone who wasn't, okay, someone who chose the wrong teacher and went with the ego created instability, inconsistency of some kind. One more pass? Okay, Holy Spirit. Here we go. One more full pass. Anger was involved. A visit. Oh my gosh. A visit that caused a lot of anger. Collective, you may have had a recent visit where someone could have taken something of yours without you realizing it, and you may not have even noticed it missing yet. Some of you may have even had to make a report on this. Even if you don't intend to press charges, you may still be required for some other discrepancy, especially if you don't own your own home. And it's like part of your mortgage agreement and insurance to report any type of theft or losses. Holy Spirit is saying that this loss may not have even been caused by another human being. It could have been some kind of wildlife visiting your home, causing damage, making you angry, but you still have to report it to the appropriate officials for like insurance purposes or just to honor your mortgage agreement. I'm not exactly sure how it will be tied into the mortgage, but I was led to share it in that manner. It could have even led to or will lead to some kind of loss of desire towards a person, place, situation, thing. And yeah, for some of you, even the loss of a lover, but it could also mean like a loss of love towards a person, place, thing, or situation, not necessarily your husband or boyfriend. A friend or a brother. This could also be a loss involving a love affair or due to a love affair. You may not know about this yet, and believe me, I do not like being the bearer of this kind of news, but I'm reading the cards at this time. I'm not even like digging around in my brain for these answers. I'm going with what Holy Spirit is leading me to share, and with grace and tenderness, I have to deliver this message, beloveds. Some of you may be involved in some kind of third-party situation that you're unaware of. Unless you're the one involved, and then of course you would be aware of it. But it's coming to an end. It's going to create loss, including a loss of some form of desire. However, in the immediate orbit, we have fortune out again. So, whatever this situation is that is happening here, for the majority, it's like a natural parting of ways, regardless of the connection. And it's really just clearing the way for all of this good fortune to pour in. New opportunities for income, love, but also just resourcefulness in all ways, shapes, and forms. Abundance in all ways, shapes, and forms. And right behind that, we have the house, this time in the upright. A strong foundation is going to come out of this. A stronger foundation. You, as that foundation, are going to come out of all of this a much stronger person and even more resourceful, as well as more resources pouring in. Again, love, an abundance of love, and all other forms of good fortune. Okay. Holy Spirit said get one invitation from, oh, wrong deck. One invitation from the mystical shaman to draw this to a close. So much for 30 minutes, guys. I do apologize. It will get better. I will get better at keeping these shorter. Invitation from the mystical shaman, Holy Spirit. One card, please. Word on the streams. Invitation for the collective. And there we have it. Ooh. The luminous warrior. Excellent. Excellent invitation. Number 32. Number 32. Reminding us it is important to focus on our power, wisdom, and beauty. Do not be seduced by what seems wrong with you or with the world. Remember that intention follows attention, and so focus on your positive traits. Feed your light with more light until you feel truly empowered. Then there will be little need for action as you resolve all situations from within. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, well, there's that invitation. And now we're going to get an archetype that's going to support us in these changes. And this will actually be that closing message, beloveds. Holy Spirit, word on the streams, archetype coming in to support the collective in these changes. We have the comic. Holy Spirit is saying that this is something that by the time it's all said and done, we can laugh about it later for years to come. We can laugh about it later for years to come. Number 26. A remedy for all that ails the world. Amid the deepest pain and suffering, there is always the potential to lift up and out of the darkness through laughter. Though dismissed by some as lowbrow or unsophisticated, this archetype actually has a highly advanced mind. Some may use the word genius, as humor requires one to see the situation from afar rather than to be swept away by the drama. Ooh, there it is, being called to see the situation from afar instead of being swept away by the drama. Accepting the messiness of life and using it as a material to be mixed and shaped into a potion to soothe the stressed and serious mind. Literally lightening us up. Usually the sage or the magician working healing magic upon any audience who will lend an ear. The comic may be the archetype that heals the deep division in our world, one pun at a time. This is all about being more spirited, easygoing, ingenious, and even a little hilarious, guys. Laughter is the best medicine. Joy, jokes, and smiles are signs of a happy heart. Be wary of spiritual practices or teachers who leave the comic by the wayside. The comic has plenty of shade to throw on others, and it can fall into shadow at the drop of a hat. Beware of their sharp claws. So, in essence, being guided to avoid the satire. We're not going to be telling jokes that are meant to be hurtful or to tear others down in order to lift others up in laughter. So, likable humor. This is soulful laughter. No losses, just imminent changes. But these are the changes, as mentioned earlier in the message, that lead to improvement as well as good fortune in all ways. Even if you don't see it that way, Holy Spirit just said, and that is the message. I want to thank you so very much, Multiversal Soul Amelia, for tuning in with much gratitude and appreciation. From my heart chakra to yours, brightest of blessings.